with the secret history living in your aquarium. Um, I was gonna do a video talking about my weekend or week, the last few days, and collecting up in the mountains, which was beautiful and just incredible. Got red-sided shiners and cutthroat trout and sand rollers and all sorts of stuff. Not stone rollers, but sand rollers. Chisel mouth minnows. Yeah, so it was a good trip. Also, I've got a beautiful sunfish, pumpkin seed fish in my pond right now. But um, I needed to put that aside, and I have to show you guys. I always share my successes and my failures, and this is a failure. This is a really bad failure, and honestly, I just found it about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago maybe. And well, let me just show you. Alright, so I got back to the fish room after being gone for 3 days, and everything seems fine in here, other than all of a sudden I literally smell like, it smells like cleaning supplies in here. And that made me worried, because I've never smelled that in the fish room before. So then I came to this tank and I started looking, and I could see snails, and I thought I saw a fish at the top, and I did. And I saw fish at the bottom, and I saw more fish dead all over the tank. Every single fish in the tank is dead in this 22-gallon. What's worse than that, these are my shrimp. These are my Malawa, and this is my oldest colony of them in this tank. This tank's been going for like 6 years. There are literally hundreds of them dead in here. And you can see some that were pregnant females. You can see some that were, I mean, they're just massacred. I mean, everything in this tank other than the snails are dead. And I need to figure out what happened. Obviously, I don't ever want this to happen again, but I don't even know what went on. There are just piles of dead shrimp everywhere. There's even fry of really hardy fish, and everything's dead. Everything's upside down and dead. So I don't know what to think. Let me show you guys what I found. So with the test of the water, was done about 2 minutes before I went live. Pretty much no nitrates, no nitrites. I also did the water tests to confirm, or the liquid tests, API, to confirm. Now, this I expected, because there's a bunch of dead things in there, and there's some fungi on them. So apparently they've rotted for 12 to 15 hours. I don't know what it is. But when we look at the color card on this, hold on, let me get this situated, let me set this on a better surface. So when we look at the color card here, and then we hold up the test. Now this test has been sitting for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It doesn't look like it's down low in the colors. It looks very minor. And so I'm not, I mean, it's in the half part per million of ammonia. And with this many fish and shrimp dead, I mean, there's 20 fish in there and 100 plus shrimp just dead. So I would expect ammonia after 12 to 24 or however many hours it's been since when I was gone. But this color, this light green, that seems too obvious. I don't think the ammonia killed all of it. I think there was a runaway reaction, but let's just check the heat just to see. Like, I literally haven't figured this out yet. I'm doing this live with you guys in hopes that somebody can learn something. But I really don't know what to think. I'm just kind of beside myself mentally with what happened here. It's really frustrating. So when I check the heat, it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 27-ish Celsius. So it doesn't look like the heater necessarily went too hot or too cold, although that is hot. I usually keep that tank around 72. So it is hot. Now the other thing with this tank is it was filterless for a very long time. However, most recently, when I started selling a bunch of shrimp, as you guys probably know if you watch the channel, I sold shrimp, and I sold 25 orders of 10 or more to people. And so far, what I've heard is that everybody got their shrimp and they're doing well. The shrimp got there okay. I haven't heard anything other than that yet. If you got some and you're watching and there was an issue with the arrival, let me know. But these are the hardiest shrimp I've ever kept. And they don't seem like they all died at once, in my opinion. And they're not decaying, which makes me wonder, I don't think there's like bacteria or fungi growing in here like normal. Unless these shrimp died this morning, they're very intact. I mean, I can still see the eggs on the females intact. Everything in this tank is dead other than the snails. And I'm scared of the heater. I'm going to take this out of here. And immediately I smell a burning smell. Oh shit. Fuck. Well, I think we found our answer. Another heater went out on me. And I'm sorry for swearing, guys. I'm really sorry. God damn. That was my most populated tank with the Malawas shrimp. And I didn't take most of the shrimp that I sold. I didn't take them out of that tank. I've been taking them out of all the others. And that explains the smell. I mean, yeah. So I gotta unplug this. But it electrocuted them. And I'm really getting frustrated by, you know, you work hard to keep your animals happy and healthy. And I just hate it when I mean, I don't even buy the cheap models, and I still hit these problems with these heaters. It's what killed my elephant nose fish. I mean, I haven't had anything die in this fish room other than some really high-end shrimp. You know, some Caridina shrimp that were just, you know, needed very specific waters and like blue bolts and stuff. I haven't had anything die of any disease in ages. But in 3 years, I've had 3 heater incidents, 2 of which have been in the last few months. And that's very nice. Thank you guys. I am seeing your comments. And I have other Malawa colonies, but that is the most true natural colony. I've had it the longest. And that tank had no heater, no filter, no anything in it for a really long time. But when I took out and by the way, the weather loaches in their kind of blackwater or tannic tank, they're going wild since I pulled that heater out of the other tank. They were all sleeping, and for some reason right now they're all going crazy. I don't know what set them off. If it was the smell of shrimp and dead fish. But man, so I need to unplug this. This is an Aqueon Pro series piece of crap heater. This is the second one. I'm getting rid of all of them, I've decided now. This is the second one. Alright, so it's unplugged. But I want to show you guys just how bad this is. This is exactly what the other one did. When it killed everything in the tank. Okay, so we have the heater. Here, let's get out of this room. Man, it smells like burning plastic and bleach. Alright, so let's take this into the kitchen. So, this is exactly what happened to the other one. Look at this. It is split. And this is the old Pro model. Has some moss growing on it. I've probably had it since I moved into this house. And you can see where something was on it. Man, focus. Something was on it right here. I don't know if that is snail or what, but it's all in the crack. Yeah, these are like 45 bucks. They're not cheap. And look at that. It's cracked and stray voltage all the way into the water, I'm sure. I'm sorry, guys. I thought there was going to be some riddle that we were going to find out, and it was going to be something interesting, but it's another freaking heater. I mean, I'm lucky the house didn't burn down. I think I've got the other one. Thought it was right there, but... So... Oh, I'm so frustrated because I literally just sent out like around 250 to 300 of my Malawas. I thought, man, this is the perfect time. I've been growing them for years. I needed to pay off those medical bills. And you guys were so incredibly supportive and kind. And so many of you guys reached out and bought some. And it meant the world to me. It really did. I don't like selling stuff through the mail. I don't like risking animals' lives, but there's such a hardy shrimp that I thought, you know what, like, it's time to do it. My colony's at a point where I would just start a new tank. And, yeah, so I do have Malawas other places. Oh my goodness, I just saw a super chat. I'm so sorry. My brain is flustered right now. I'm so sorry. Let's see here. Oh, holy cow. Regina, thank you very much. Wow, that's very, 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 very kind of you. Thank you. Alright, I'm going to skip back down to where we're at live now. So if you guys had a question or a comment, let's just type it again. But yeah, so this is the second or third Aqueon, specifically Aqueon heater, that I'm trying to find the other one. It was sitting right here, that has done this to me. And gosh, it's dangerous. It's really, really dangerous. And they need to change their product big time. It is. Nirvana Aquatic says that thing probably hit 105 before it popped. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Regina, I actually have been switching to Higher heaters. These right here. These, even if they have a problem, at least they have an emergency cutoff switch. And I was literally about to do a review video on what I thought of different heaters. Because I have the Aqua Pros all the way back to the older clear style, to the Aqueon Pros that are all black. And, you know, I have the small ones that don't have any settings. I have the big 300 watts. And, you know, now the one that I have been having pretty good luck with, I mean, really, the tank looks good and everything, is this one here. This big. Now, it needs help in the... See, I even have those shrimp in here. So there are backups of the Malawas shrimp. See, there's... Let's see, can you guys see that? There's even some in here. Even with all the angelfish and stuff, they're in here. They eat all my debris. I love them. They're my favorite critter. I think they have made my hobby so much better. And I'm gone for a couple days, and I come back, and, you know, this heater, listen, so if I pull it out even for a second, it starts giving me an error code. And this thing looks huge, and it is huge. It's not convenient in that sense. But if you had a sump, it would be fine. That, and this is a 300 watt heater for a 50 watt tank, or I mean a 50-gallon tank, but this same body holds up to 800 watts of heating coils if you want their higher end one or their bigger ones. And I think I have to switch. I think I have to switch on all of them. You know, I don't trust these kind. This one, this brand here seems okay from what I've seen. You know, Higer, and then what one is this? I can't even recall off the top of my head. I'm trying to see which brand this one was. But this is the one where you turn the dial, and it might be like, it might even be like Top Fin or something. That one has been pretty consistent for me. It has. And all the little Higer, the small Higers, they're plenty strong enough to heat most of your tanks up to 40 gallons or so. Even the little 200 watt Higers seem to do the job. Honestly, I've had these little ones heating up to a 40-gallon tank, and they do fine. These Aqueons seemed okay. This older generation Pro heater, this one seemed okay also. But I don't trust having those kind. I don't want them anywhere in my tanks anymore. That specific model has failed me 3 times now. And this model seems okay. This one here, that one seems okay too. I've never had any problems with it. This big silver ones, like these 300 watts, no problem. But those solid state ones that are supposed to be filled with sand or whatever else, I don't know what they claim is in there, ceramic and sand or something. They've killed the majority of the fish that I've lost in several years. They've been the response. They've been the culprit. But I mean, just cleaning this is going to be a freaking tragedy. Look at this. I've got a pile of dead shrimp that is, I mean, there are hundreds of dead shrimp in here. I didn't even know there were still this many shrimp in this spot. Hold on, let me get the glare off. But there's and I don't know why the quality's so bad. Sorry guys, everything's just kind of driving me insane all at once here. But there's just piles of shrimp, and there's some that are dead, like right where they stood. Like they're dead in the spot where they were sitting and eating. You know, I think most have either fallen into a pile, or maybe with their last bit of energy, they scooted towards eating some of the stuff that died at a lower voltage. But there is like an inch thick of just shrimp freaking dead in this tank. And my cories, all my high fin cories, and I finally was having babies too, with the pencil fish. Man, I'm gonna check what heater I have in here. Oh, good. I don't even have a heater. Good. Most of these tanks don't even have heaters these days because this room stays plenty warm enough, but I don't trust those solid heaters anymore. These ones I haven't had issues with so much, but most of the shrimp came out of my blue tank here, or that one above. A few came from it, or from the other community tanks. And so when I first saw it, I thought, well, maybe you know, I actually over harvested and the cycle's off or something, you know. So now I need to completely leave this tank alone from harvesting shrimp. We've got some pregnant moms, which is good. This is my blue line tank, which is pretty picked over right now, and I need to actually put these coals into a new tank. But recently I had also started this tank, which has nothing in it right now. It's just a grow out for baby cichlids and things. And I just started putting shrimp in here just so that they would have so that fish would have a food source, basically. That's all. Just a little 10-gallon. But at least there's some shrimp in there and some of the Malawas. And I think there's some up in here too. Up in my... Yeah, there are. There's some up there at the top eating. Next to the snail there. And, yeah. So... Man, it's just frustrating though. And, there's my biggest ones, which I haven't done anything to to make them extra big, but I think they just live a long time in this tank. But look how big the Malawas are in this tank. They're almost double the size of my Malawas in any other tank. All the Malawas in here, well, not all of them, but the majority of them get to this humongous size. And watch me scoot some towards the camera here. They get eaten by betta and guppies, but the ones that survive are freaking tanks. They're almost like a mono size, and I really need to figure out what it is about this tank that makes them just so massive. Some of them are 1.5 inches, well over 1.5 inches. The one difference is they get natural sunlight. I mean, that's a pretty big difference. They get a lot of it, so they also get the algae that comes with that. But other than that, it's really just predation. This is the heater in that tank, which this is one of those cheapo ones that I just put in here just in case it ever got cold one night. And I don't think I've ever even seen the little red light on it turn on. So, and then I just want to double check that I don't think I have any heaters running in here anymore. I do have the Airstone running in this little nano tank. And over in my this little project tank within the Pistos. And then I've got my amazing shrimp from Grant, the beautiful... Man, I don't know why the live streams are so bad lately again on the software. But look, here's a little blue Stardust doing an exercise, and it's gonna... it's getting ready to shed. So these guys are hanging in there, doing okay. Still got my the tangerines. You know, I did lose some of the raccoon ones, but I have a whole bunch hiding in the back somewhere of the really cool green hybrids that are like part... Oh, and there's some brand new baby shrimp swimming just now. I just saw them. But there's some really delightful little green shrimp in here too. If I push things forward, let's see here. And also the tangerines are still in here doing their thing and all that. But the cheetahs are all good still. And what we've got then... So yeah, the only ones that didn't last however long it's been, 4 or 5 months now, since the first round came in probably, were the raccoons. The other ones are all chilling in here or in a tank above. So thanks again to Grant and Garden of Eater Shrimp. Here is another tank that has it's a cold tank or cooler. I try to keep it under 75 if I can. But this is where the German Sawassertong and some of my cooler plants are. Some of the crypts from the mountains of India and from the Hindu Kush, and then a lot of my little fish that are like Medakas and stuff are in here, plus my little Jamaican ones. But you can see this guy's chasing a scud. It's cute. You can see all the little shrimp still in here. The youngins, there's always a ton of youngins, and this is where I got most people's extra, 3 to 5, 6 extra shrimp with their order out of that tank. And it's just a little shallow tank, but it's full of so much Sawassertang, and I feed them, and it just does its own thing, but it's very good. at doing its thing and keeping up. All the shrimp in here, they're gone. They got eaten, which isn't surprising with angelfish and haplochromis and algae eaters. In here, let's just check on this test. So yeah, that again, I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer. It was the heater that killed all those fish, and probably 150, maybe even 200 shrimp. I don't know. I mean, there's an inch thick of them in every corner on that tank. The ammonia, again, only this much green, which is not much when you look at the little card, for having an entire tank of dead creatures. And I want to thank you guys for warning me not to put my hand in there, because I was just kind of thinking, like, what could have killed everything? And I was, you know, ready to dig in and figure it out. And I've been shocked once before by that same brand, another 100, or what is it, a 200 or 100 watt? I think it's 100 watt, but it shocked me badly. And I've been hit by lightning, guys, remember? And it really hurt, like bad shock. So what happens is you'll notice that it cracks, not on the seam. None of them have cracked on the actual mold seam. They've just cracked randomly from the center of the bottom and then up. And then you can see the cork or sand or whatever it is. It's some sort of gritty consistency stuff that's in there. And it just throws out a stray current. And I don't know what to do about that. I mean, they're already not the cheap ones. They're the more expensive ones, heater-wise. So I feel like we're getting a weird glare in here. I want to answer your guys' questions and talk to you more. I just want to get this out of my head. So let me catch up with the chat. I'm sorry, guys. I thought this was going to be like, what went wrong? Alex screwed up and I overfed, or a bottle of Windex fell in there, or something real interesting that we would be able to solve, and it would take some of the tragedy out of it, in that, you know, you live and learn kind of a thing. But no, this is just because a manufacturer who I've already called and talked to on the 2 other occasions that I've had the same exact freaking model that I bought go. I mean, well, not, so one was this exact model, one was a much smaller version, but the same series, different year, and they're like, oh, it's just a problem with that year. We promise, you know, if it happens, it's got a fail-safe switch, it's no big deal, like, it can't overheat. And they may have been telling the truth about it not overheating, but it can electrocute everything like an electric chair. And I think that's what happened there, because there's still shrimp sitting on their blades of grass, like in the relaxed position. Hold on, guys. I don't know where I put my shoes. I'm losing my mind, as you can probably tell, more than normal. So, I mean, the only saving grace for it is that the only way I failed them is in buying those in the first place and not replacing it when I had the one other one fail. That's when I should have changed every single damn one of those stupid things. They're just expensive, and who wants to spend $45 again on a heater, you know? You know, especially when they've got a name it's not some off-brand that no one's heard of. It's just so frustrating. All right, guys, let me find the chat now. I just needed to step outside and clear my head and think happy thoughts, get away from the smell of that fish room, which is like, man, it's like burning plastic and cooked shrimp. It's awful. Patrick, thank you so much. I just see your super chat. Thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate it. Um, yeah. I'm looking at the brands you guys are suggesting. Fanatical says I have a Jewel aquarium and their heaters are superb. I have ones over 20 years old that work fine. Well, that's good to know. Also, Higer, Nirvana Aquatic. I think I am gonna switch to Higer. You know, the crazy is they're cheaper than these ones that fail me every time. Um, yeah. You need to add GFIC plugs for all your aquariums. So I don't know what that technically does. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just ignorant of it. The GFIC certification or rating or what that, entails. But I do have circuit breakers with the fuse in them connected to the wall, and they're supposed to pop. Like, if you put in a hair dryer on that line, it clicks over like a breaker switch would, but then it also burns out a little fuse type thing in a little glass cylinder. Those are the extension cords I have. Um, so I don't know what those are counted as, but I was told by the guys, at the shop store that not at an aquarium store, but at a hardware store, they were like, "This is what you'll want if you want to avoid surges and just kill everything rather than have a surge hit it." Yeah. Yeah, when doing water changes, Ryan, that's a good point. When doing water changes, unplug your heater no matter what. It's a good point. And not to just put your hand in the tank blindly. I mean, I've done it a million times. And literally, I mean, if that had been, a 300-watt heater, what would it have done? I don't. Do we have any electricians or engineers that know? Because the 100-watt one in the past that got me and that failed, that was that same model, it hurt really bad, and it like constricted my muscles to the point where I couldn't even like pull away for half a second. Like I felt like locked up. It was really bad. Um, I thought it was a real thermometer on the heater when I purchased mine, but it just shows a red line that shows on a gauge. Ryan, yeah. Ceramic and fiberglass is what's in those. Okay, thank you. Oh, George, you're at the Danikin house, huh? You guys had a meeting? Apparently, I butt dialed the Portland Club today earlier before I found this. And Shanna called me, and everyone was laughing. They were all in a group together having a board meeting, and apparently, I just was talking to them without knowing it. Scream and Fly. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Steven Wright. Yeah, thanks, guys. And Shanna, hey, Shanna, what's up? I see you're here now. First Class Fish. I see your super chat. I'm sorry it took me a moment to get recombobulated, I guess. Thank you. Thank you so much. Alex, I have a bazillion Malawas if you need some. Well, oh yeah, that's right. You've probably had mine for what, like 3 or 4 years, like from whenever you got them in the. It's probably the same line, right? Did you get them from me or from Steve? I mean, I think we're the only two that have brought them to meetings or in a roundabout way. If you got them from aquariums, then. Um, Mick says, I would use a really wide siphon plastic tube for taking out a third of the water and dead bodies. Don't you need to Yeah, that's the really, really frustrating part about this is I love the animals that were in there. I had probably 12 Corydoras, pencilfish. There's plants that can probably be saved. But I mean, that's 150, 200 shrimp easily. I mean, I can see 50 easily on one corner. So it may be even well over that. God. But the other frustrating part is I have a few more people that I need to send Malawas shrimp to, and I probably still have enough in the other tanks. I just need to check on them, but it's just so freaking frustrating. Um, yeah, no, I totally. Regina, you can. Good thing you were mentioning the Higer thing. If you do want to buy Higer heaters rather than these Aqueon ones that suck, apparently, um, you can get 20% off, and you can use the code Ohana, she says. So somebody's got a discount code for that. That's OHANA, meaning family in Hawaiian. Um, I think I also have a code for 20% off, and I think it's just secret 20 or secret. It might be 15. It might be secret 15. But I'm supposed to make them another video about their newer heater. But I told them I'm not going to make you guys a video until I've had the heater for like a year or 6 months, like 6 months minimum. How could I take a heater and review it in a month and tell an honest review? I can't. That's not right. So what I did is I tripped the fuse. I tried putting it in real hot water and setting it off. The one they gave me. Plus, I've got the one that's been running in the tank for probably since October, I want to say. Probably October. Um, so I am pretty close to being ready. Plus, they showed me the actual circuitry diagram, which I thought they were going to say no way. But there is a physical part that if the metal expands to a certain temperature in those um, Higer heaters, if it expands to a certain temperature, metal moves at different temperatures. Like it's different elasticity and different um, properties, and so when it heats up, it expands and moves just like water expands or anything else expands when it well, water's a bad example, but a lot of things when they heat up, they either expand or contract, and it's predictable. So when something hits 95 degrees or 100 degrees in their circuitry there, it actually breaks the connection to the point where like it's going to send an error code, and the only way to reset it other than going in and replacing that piece is apparently you have to like heat it up. There's some kind of black market way where you can heat up the filament and re-stretch it kind of so that it doesn't override it anymore, or maybe it's cool it down. But the guy was speaking Chinese through Google Voice, and it was translating, so I was having a hard time following him. But he did send me some blueprints on like the messages that get deleted quickly, like on your Instagram. And so I was impressed that they were willing to share that so that I could see that there was actually something in there without ripping it apart. I mean, I could always rip it apart. But yeah, so I will have a review on that. But no, there's no warranties, Michael, unfortunately. It's just a super bummer. All right, take to space. Have a good one, man. George, RB3, what's up, man? Crypt Keeper also use temp controller, so shuts off automatically at the preset temperature. Yeah, I mean, you can do that, definitely. No, I don't need electricity in my life anymore. Yeah, seriously. I only heat half the tanks or less right now. I try to heat that room instead. It's in the winter that it's an issue. In the summer, in fact, I could pull all those heaters right now. I should. Or turn them off at least, because I don't need them, for sure. Well, thank you for your comment as well, Debbie Lee. In my tank room, I don't use heaters since it's summer. I open my windows and let the room stay warm from natural heat outside. Yeah, if it's too hot. Good. Yeah, that's the way I try to do it usually, especially in Seattle, because very rarely is it so hot outside, and except for the last few years, unfortunately. But very rarely is it so hot that it's unlivable. So when it hits 90 or so, that's when we need different things. What kind of heater? It was an Aqueon Pro series. And they're called like ceramic solid state is how they're marketed in a lot of like I think that's either PetSmart or Petco's, like that's their little, I think it's PetSmart. I think that's their like motto or their tagline is that it's like a silica or silicate and ceramic, so that it fuses the heat evenly. And some of those, yeah, I agree, Alyssa. I would spend well over $100 if it never overheated. And the thing is, there's a lot of companies that are new and they're putting out things like I see Crypt Keeper mentioning Inkbird, and I have some Inkbird products that, like a moisture sensorizer for the floors and stuff like that. But they haven't been around super long, and they're very high tech. And I just worry sometimes that like if they're that high tech, like what's the fail point? Like, is it going to be software rather than the actual analog device pieces, and so forth? So, yeah, but I'm not saying anything. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jaeger is. I mean, Eheim and Jaeger, I have had good experiences with, especially and Hydor too. I've never had any of those fail on me, and I mean I've never had Higer, Hydor, Jaeger, and Eheim. I've never had fail me personally. Now I've heard all of those failing for someone in our club when I've talked, but I've never had it happen, and I know for a fact that. Um, Oh yeah, everything's definitely on surge protector, and then the surge protector also has one of the things that if um, it has the little tube, uh, what's it called? Not an amp, but it's on like extension cords for 240-volt stuff, where it's like a little glass tube with an LED behind that, and the current runs through it. But if it breaks, it's just like an old school vacuum tube fuse. That's what I ended up buying because, yeah. Nirvana says they overheat before they pop open. The heat expands in the internals and breaks the plastic. Yeah. Um, yeah, Danikin, thank you very much, buddy. Alex, your butt was, yeah. I don't know if it was my butt. It was in my lap, buddy. When that phone call came through to you. Uh, but yeah. And for the record, guys, Danikin Aquatics, Kenny and Danny, they always do an awesome, really fun, upbeat, fish fam friendly show, full of laughter because of Danny, and inadvertently Kenny. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. But they always do a good show. Coming up here in about, I guess, an hour or so. I'll have to double check the time, but. Buttface, I'll have to talk to her. Girl Talks Fish. Yeah, I'll have to talk to her. She's a sweetheart, and man, it's just, I wonder if it was the same model that busted on her too. Anyways, J-Man, thoughts on glass tube heaters? I haven't had big problems with them lately. Now, 20 years ago, I used to have issues with the coil that you could actually see heating up in the old old heaters. I did have some issues with them, but I haven't in a long time. Fluval titanium glass tube heaters have worked well for me. I've used them for everything, for sure, says. Yeah, Fluval, I've had one Fluval heater fail me, but no others. And actually, let me say something different than that. I've had 3 fail me, but only one fail me in a way where the heat went up at all, and it didn't kill all my fish. It only killed a couple. And then I think some sort of like dead man switch or whatever you want to call it cut in and prevented the damage. The other two times, it just stopped heating. It didn't break because of anything in particular other than age. And I'm okay, you know, I hate to say that I'm okay with the product just randomly breaking, but I am okay if it just breaks and stops heating. If it keeps heating, or in this case, actually electrocutes the fish and you potentially, that's what's happened in other cases, is the big old um, the big old break down the side when I was trying to figure out what killed my elephant nose mormarid fish, my Peter's eye. I was so bummed because I was really like babying those fish and feeding them, you know, by hand each day and everything. But what it was it was a stray current from a cracked heater like that. It wasn't a hard enough amount of electricity. It was just loose current, and those are fish that are very electrically in tuned, and I think it just stressed them out is what happened. Yeah. My wife would kill me if I kept the house at 76 degrees. My wife would kill me if I kept the fish room at 76 degrees. But I do with the little portable space heater, honestly. Screaming Fly, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. And I mean, obviously you're implying that there's something there, and thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, I do feel like I can't catch a break with some of these things sometimes. I mean, everybody has stuff going on, but, you know, we don't know if they got too hot or if electricity killed them, but I would guess electricity because there are shrimp still sitting on blades of grass, like in position. And, you know, I discovered this live, and there's only so many of you guys watching live. I need to make a video on this because it's happened twice now, and I really want to put out a warning. I'll probably email the company, give them a chance to say something in the next few days, but I don't really care what they have to say at this point unless it's like we're buying you all new heaters and we'll recall the others from people. I've had it with that brand. Yeah, right on, George. Congrats on the macrostoma for sure. Oh, Jamie, you're coming from Linwood back to Port Orchard. Ah, nice. Probably nice out in Port Orchard. It's pretty nice even in Shoreline or Linwood today. It's pretty sunny out here. A lot of sunshine. How fast can you breed new shrimps from the ones you have left? That many, that size, it's gonna take 6 months at least. At least. To have 200 plus adults that are healthy. I mean, the thing is, I grow them in communities. If I were to do just a shrimp tank and care for just those shrimp and try to maximize the females and have a couple males and feed it well, clean it well, do all the things that you can do to help, I could probably get it done in like 4 to 7 months, depending on temperature and just other factors. But really, I see maybe a 20 or 30% difference in that every 6 months, like in influx. And the amount of effort and time that goes into doing it that way is many hours. So you lose all the money you'd make off of selling those anyways. So I really like to just let them be and just do their thing, and then just, you know, intercept when they've done that. Okay, I'll definitely check out B-Wood. Thank you. I'll check out the GFIC plugs. You caught some fish native to your area. You're having a hard time identifying them. Go to the native fish of North America, the native North American, Native American what is it? North American Native Fish Association, NANFA. Go to their Facebook page and don't ask what this fish is because people will ignore it. Say, check out this trout that I caught when you know it's not a trout, when everyone knows it's not a trout. And then watch everybody just annihilate you about how dumb you are, but they'll tell you what the fish is. Um, I've learned that's how you have to interact on some of those forums. Uh, I'm behind on the stream, but that sucks. I've had a couple Aqueons fail on me too, says Mike Kirkpatrick. Most of them were still good since they pulled them. Okay, yeah. Adam, I'm glad you like that, Adam. I'm glad you guys got your shrimp too. Jeez, because right now I'm probably not shipping any more shrimp than like maybe 3 more orders because there goes over half the population of all the shrimp I own. Because that tank was just magical. It was an old tank, and it was the substrate in that tank is over 6 years old too, and it was so layered, so full of life, and able to keep being cycled, or not cycle, but I mean keep growing plants. That's the other major bummer is it is just dead. Yeah. It maybe some of the bacteria will be alive in the substrate, but I don't know what I'll have to do. What are my thoughts on Hulk Hogan's mustache? I don't have many thoughts in that I just haven't shaved, as you can see by the scruff here. This is just how my facial hair naturally grows. It's like reddish yellow. It's very odd. Olive colored. GE brand. Okay, I'll try them. All right, Fanatical. Yeah, no, I'll be fine. I'm just really frustrated. I just. Yeah, and sorry for swearing on the stream. I know I try not to do that. You all know that I do that from time to time, though. I'm sure most of you do too. But yeah, so this live stream was kind of just a big warning of buying the Aqueon Pro, because this exact way that it broke, with the bottom cut open like a slice of pie going up the side, and there's a seam. It's not exactly on 180 degrees around it, but there's a seam on this other side. You'd think it'd break on the seam, but it doesn't ever break on the seam. All the ones I've had break haven't broken on the seam. So I don't know. It's very, very odd. Here's what you need. B-Wood says, Tower Manufacturing 304400003 auto reset 15 amp grounded 3-prong GFCI 5 outlet adapter white. All right, I'll check it out. Thank you. Yeah, for real, Adam. Pro, more like Aqueon Pro Labs. That's what it did. Yeah, for sure. Well, I definitely have also, guys, I definitely have some pretty cool fish pictures. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, the Silver Creek, I hear you. I'll find a local store, maybe, or big brand. Trust the guy missing fingers. Yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, so I caught some red-sided shiners, which is awesome because we don't get many of those on the west side of this state. So we went over the mountains, my wife and I. She went and hung out with her college friends, and I got to go fishing. So I brought my Tenkara rod, which is just 6 inches of like a little strap, and then 6 feet of a threaded line, and it floats on the water, and you can flick it like a bow. It's a 13-foot long pole that is telescopic and gets really long. It's very small, so small that when you're holding it, even your heartbeat or your breath cause the lure and the bait to shake and put the like little tremors into the water. So you can kind of just cast it out to the surface of the water, and then your own body breathing and stuff or talking will actually cause it to dance and make different motions, and then you can get more elaborate from there. But yeah. Um, I hate Facebook for groups. They have killed off forums. Well, yeah, they're definitely different things. That's for sure. Where did I just wiped something? Whatever. Uh, they're different beasts. That's for sure. I don't miss some things about forums, but there's like Reddit still out there. You could always fire something up on there. And there's, Planet Tank Forum and stuff like places like that actually, I don't know if you can still post there. I haven't tried to post anything there in a couple years, but the Facebook group that I have is more just so people can share, like, hey, here's a picture, what's wrong with my fish? And so that I can take a look without having to use my email every time. And so that everyone can get in touch with one another on the channel if they want to, because there's no messaging on here unless you're in a live stream and you do the so that's frustrating, but I may do I may do a like a what's that website called, Discord. I may do a Discord server, but there's some really nasty stuff about Discord, There's nasty stuff about Facebook too. I mean, so I know that's being hypocritical, but Discord has some pretty grand agendas of just knowing everyone's data and commodifying it later that make me uncomfortable. And it's like all the people that think they're getting around Facebook and avoiding that have gone to Discord most fervently, and yeah, it's not any different, unfortunately. In fact, it's even a little worse in some ways. There's actually a documentary about 2 hours long, and it's a guy who used to work on the development when it was still coming out of Discord, and when they were first like scaling and whatnot. And he talks about when they're talking about profit models and how they want to build and how they want to have it free for a while and get everyone on board, and then they'll flip on the switch, just like every company does with anything tech related these days. Nate Wild, hello. First Class Fish, I'm not saying groups aren't useful, just that forums have really slowed down a lot. Yeah, totally. And yes, Discord can be pretty hard to navigate for some people. Also, just, yeah, like you said, Nirvana Aquatics, it can be hard to just deal with the people and like the politics, all that kind of stuff. So let's see here. Benjamin says, my favorite thing about the Facebook is posting free floating plants that have the listing pulled for selling drugs. Yeah. I've seen like there's an ad I get on Facebook all the time in Seattle whenever I'm like geolocated and it knows I'm in town. But it doesn't happen if I leave the area code or whatever. But it's like, get your nitrous oxide delivered, and it's like for all your baking needs, and it's got a picture of a rave in the picture and like this gas mask where you can screw in like 5 of the little cartridges. It's just like ridiculous. I mean, I don't really care what people do, but it's just like, yeah, just call it what it is. But yeah, I agree, Alyssa too. Alyssa says, my favorite thing about Facebook is having the extra super moderate every single comment and post in any fish community because you can't suggest that you bought a fish or Facebook bots will shut it down. Yeah, not to mention, yeah, the buying of selling of live animals, obviously. But not to mention, just you post anything about fish, you're going to get a billion ads from fish, but they're not super good. There's not a lot of companies selling fish supplies that are like, here's something relevant that we'd like you to buy. They just aren't that tech savvy. So I just see a lot of crap that's like fish cooler, singing fish bobblehead, like just crap, like mass produced crap. It's not even useful stuff. um, yeah, Michael, I tend to go with Dr. Pepper most of the time. Mr. Pibb is when the trucks don't make it through the Sierra Nevadas or whatever happened to the Donner Party happens to the Dr. Pepper party every once in a while. I'll go to Mr. Pibb. But this is back. It's flowing. The Texas tea, the bubbling crude, it is back. So I will drink it. Um, oh, yeah, sorry, Aubrey, I forgot to answer your question. So I've just been using some normal flies, honestly. I've been using a couple patterns of just like, what are they? I know their numbering gauge system's a little different, and I haven't learned it yet. I'm very new to the Tenkara stuff. This is like the fifth time I've used the pole, and like third trip where I've even caught anything with the pole. But I was able to catch shiners and a sunfish and what else? Oh, a little cutthroat trout um, and uh, some other sculpin. So I was able to catch some stuff that kind of surprised me, but it was in the very very shallow part of the lake, and the hooks were about yay big, like maybe 3/4 of an inch total size, and bent back towards themselves, non-barbed. So they're designed kind of to hook that mouth of bass and perch rather than like the trout mouth, really. Um, really, you have issues getting Dr. Pepper in Central Texas. That's interesting because it's like, isn't it like Oklahoma that manufactures it? And like right north of there, I mean, in theory, I know that there's some county in Oklahoma where you can still get the original formulation that's slightly different with like cane sugar and I think it's like cardamom and a few other things. They just do slightly differently. Um, yeah, Alyssa, I understand. You're a great moderator, though, Alyssa. I trust you. 5 out of 5 Alexes agree. Alyssa is okay. Also, if I didn't say it out loud, I don't remember if I did or didn't, but J-Man-Atch, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. Anybody wants to become a member, it's $1.99, and it helps safeguard against me killing all my animals and going broke because I'm an idiot. Anyhow, anyway, there's a museum in Waco for Dr. Pepper. Right on. I've been to Waco, but it's been a while, and I probably wasn't looking for Dr. Pepper when I was there. I was like 22, and I probably was looking for alcohol and maybe girls. I don't know. But yeah, so I posted some pictures. If you're interested in seeing on Facebook, and I will make a video of my trip I don't know how fascinating it'll be, but there's footage of it. And I also did some underwater footage, which should be good. And then tonight, I am hoping to go, especially now, because I'm just pissed and I don't want to clean that tank right this second. I don't want to look at all the dead. I don't, I'm not going to count them probably, but I don't even want to think about. Especially, like, I had some fish in there that were really rare too. Some of the darter tetras that were like very unusual fish in there, and some coral pencil fish that were in there. Just frustrating as all hell. And also a slate, a high or a natural long fin Corridorus similis too, which was really frustrating. But I think I'm gonna sign off here, and Euro Gupper, I was wondering if it was a chain reaction, like some of the stuff near the heater got shocked and then it died, and then the other stuff came and then the ammonia started building up. But the ammonia is only at 0.25 to 0.5 parts per million, which is where you can start seeing some definite problems in sensitive fish. But there's fish in there that should be just fine, like Corridora, or the Loaches that were in there, or the Autosynclus, or the baby plecos that were growing out in there. Like, there were just a few little tiny ones that were like 3 months old or something. But yeah, so something I think zapped it all quick, died, and then the ammonia still hasn't even really built up. I mean, it's a testament to how cycled that tank was, that it's not like 5 parts per million after a day or two, I don't know when it happened, of just being lost circuit into there. Oscar Llewellyn, yeah, I'll show you which tank real quick. Promote my group here? Yeah, sure. Check out my group. It's on Facebook. It's called the Secret History Living in Your Aquarium Facebook group. Man, it smells bad in here. It smells like burning plastic, and a little bit now like dead fish, but it smells like burning plastic. And man, look at how many shrimp just got nailed. And then you come around the side, and it's like this all the way around the back. Some places it's this deep. Like, I mean, we're talking like from substrate to, that's a pile of dead shrimp. Like, I don't know, 2 inches. I mean, just, it is freaking so depressing. And then, like I said, there's still shrimp up on their perches that are dead. Up over there, up on there, up top on here, little baby ones. And then you can still see Mama with all her eggs in her bellies. These 2 moms right here. It's just, it's a lot of shrimp. It's a lot of shrimp that bit the dust. And that tank, which had no filter until I freaking leave for vacation, I put 2 weeks ago when I went away for a couple days, I turned a sponge filter on, and then I left. That was fine. Then I put the heater in as another guard, because it's been getting hot, but sometimes it'll get cold again, and I had the window open over here about that much. And I was like, oh, I just want to be safe. So I put the heater back in, even though this was a completely non-heated semi-black water, or as I was calling it, lack water. It had like all the bumblebee gobies in it, had all the beautiful purple pork chop rasboras, and or glow light rasboras, and the natural ones. And then it had coral pencil fish, and it had Equus pencil fish, and then it had various quarries, and then just tons of shrimp. And it's every single thing in it is dead. Every single quarry, everything but the snails are dead. Just a complete loss. So if you're just tuning in, every other tank's fine, and that's what the first thing that made me stop and just get this sinking feeling in my gut. And then this has been sitting the whole show now, so like an hour, and it's still only yay green. It's not anywhere near the dark green colors. Hold on. It's nowhere near the dark green. It's probably in that 2.25 to 0.5 range. And on the dipstick test, still sitting an hour, no nitrates or nitrites. When I do these tests other times, even if they show no nitrates or nitrites, after, you know, an hour or two, it'll start to turn pink. That one is still not turning pink. That's how cycled that tank was. I mean, it was 6 years old. The substrate had like stratified different bacteria. I mean, it was like a masterful lasagna of nature that was just working amazingly. And then this piece of shit just decided to split down the bottom, electrocute all the inhabitants of that. That's the second one of the 100 watt exact Aqueon Pro model, exact heater. Look at that split. It could have shocked me too. I've been hit by lightning once already. I've been shocked by the other one that broke. Those, I mean, it could have just like really set me off there. I'm sorry for swearing again. I'm just, man, it pisses me off. So yeah, hopefully the plants will be okay if I get things out of there. That's for sure. But there's no mystery to be solved, I guess. It was just that the plecos I had in there were the young baby lemons that were growing out from when the other lemons died, the last few lemons I had. And you know, we dug that thing up, Alyssa. We dug it up, and I mean, I'd redone it since then. So yeah. Oh, hey, Dr. Anthony. You're just in time to, yeah, see me all pissed off. So, I am gonna get out of here, and I guess I'll make a video of what happened, shorter for folks. Alex, do you need lemons? Sure. I'm just reading your comments, folks. Sorry. Yeah, it's the second one in a year. I should have thrown it out. It was the only one I had left of those stupid stick Aqueon Pros. I've saved the other one. I wrote them. I'm going to write them, and then I'm going to release the video. And it's not going to be pretty. And I'm going to release my review of the Higer, which is pretty good. They actually gave me the blueprints of their fail-safe heat conducer. I don't know what it's called, a throttle or whatever you want to call it, but it's a fail-safe so that the metal itself expands at that temperature of around 95 to 105 Fahrenheit. The metal expands, and all of a sudden the circuit's not complete and you just can't have it. But I will be streaming again tomorrow, and I won't be in a terrible freaking mood and cussing. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what happened. And I thought we'd do something educational and like figure out that it was some, you know, bacteria. We'd look under the microscope, or it'd be something like a chain reaction. No, it's just another damn heater. Another damn heater killed hundreds of dollars, probably thousands of dollars at retail. Because if those shrimp, if I sold them for $5 a pop and there's 200 of them, boom, it's $1,000. Not to mention the fish in there. So I mean, it's frustrating. That's what I was going to be selling the rest of the summer, out of that tank and letting the other ones kind of heal. I know, Alyssa, you're very, very kind. I'm okay. I'm just ranting, and I know that you have Malawas and you have Plecos, and you're an incredibly kind person, and I can probably gather things from you, and that's very kind. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just frustrated. That's all. I'm gonna go fishing because it's like the Big Lebowski. When you're mad, what do you just F it, dude? Let's go bowling. F it, dude. Let's go fishing. So yeah, that's the education. Aqueon sucks, like For Sure said. Well, you guys, I hope you have a really good night. I hope you go maybe hang out with Danikin Aquatics over on their channel in about 30 minutes and get some laughs and smiles because they're good for that. Kenny and I think, are going to be taking a road trip to Wyoming and then the Teton National Park. I want to go visit the cichlids that are living in the geothermal hot springs off the map. Like they're kind of a known secret thing. But because they're getting rid of them finally out there. Since the 1940s, there have been aquarium fish out there in this hot spring, like it's like a plain or grassy field that has these mud potholes, and when it's wet, it fills up, and all of a sudden there's 70-degree water across like a couple hundred acres, and these puddles. Well, the fish have survived in those mud puddles because I guess the minerality isn't too bad, but there's all these cichlids and tropical fish that have been there since as early as the 1940s that were pets, and they're kind of stuck there in their little area. But Kenny and I want to go check that out. We want to check out go see Dan's fish, his finished warehouse and all that jazz. And then maybe go see Priscilla and a couple other folks, anybody who's in Colorado or Utah, and kind of loop back. So we're thinking about doing that in early August. And then the other big thing that's coming up is that I think it's going to be the 7th or 8th of September, I'm going to fly down to Tampa/Orlando area. It's actually the Pasco County area. And Grant, Garden of Eater, Grant is going to have he and the club there are going to have me speak, which I'm very honored to be invited. And so, yeah, I'm going to go speak there, but I'm also going to spend a week there. So if you're in Central Florida or Northwestern Florida in September, in that first and second week of September, I'm going to try to spend 5 to 7 days there collecting and seeing Lucas, seeing Grant, just seeing whoever wants to come out, basically. And then speak to the club on that Saturday, the 10th. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. And, the generosity of folks tonight, too. Regina, thank you very much. You in particular. I mean, $50 is just crazy, but it does really go a long way. I can buy some Hydra heaters. I can definitely replace this one if I need to. But yeah, so I'm gonna get out of here. But I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be happy. We'll talk about what I've found, and if I catch anything tonight, I'll add it to the list, and photos that are on Facebook and so forth. So yeah, we'll talk about it. But I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you, replay crew. Thank you, those of you who've been here the whole time, lurkers, friends, mods, all of you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. You guys rock, and you keep my head up when I'm ready to throw my hands up. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys later. Much love, guys. Bye.